as they'll prop or move, or they're moving from side to side, trying to go faster. It's taxing, it's tiring. So that 30-year, I think, covered my want to do that. I'm like, I'm good. If I was riding, on the beach somewhere, a black stallion scene, arms waving
right
on
out
the
of a movie.
side or something, maybe like that, it would be. But I'm glad that I got to do it for such an extended period of time. And the morning time, which a lot of people don't know, is a huge part of racing, because you're getting familiar with the horses, you're getting fit, and you're talking to trainers, you're drumming up business. The morning time, it kind of calls on me, because I come out sometimes in the morning and I see the people, and that part is more. But the riding part is for younger people.
Sure is. Pass the baton, right?
Yes.
Let's go back to May 5th, 2000, as we were talking about the Kentucky Oaks. As we mentioned, Classy Car, who you rode, was in the race and finished a very good third. The video here is not the best, but certainly we will be able to follow you for part of the race. You broke from post position number 11, and you actually kind of, I would say, maybe brushed the gate and trailed the field early, if you recall, and then had to make kind of a wide move, and you closed into a pace and finished third. So let's kind of watch the replay. You're going to break from post position number 11 on Classy Cara. This is the Kentucky Oaks, and the beloved and deceased Luke Kreitbos will be on the mic.
Off and running in the 126 Kentucky Oaks. It's a good start for all as Miss Seffens goes straight out to take the lead early, joined by Rings of Chime down the center, and Rings of Chime takes over by half a length. Cash Run will keep her company from the outside, second in Spain. Tugs her way up. She'll be 3 wide of the turn, racing third. Miss Seffens is saving ground on the inside. 4 Circle of Life is racing behind horses in fifth by a length and a half now, followed by Vivid Sunset. And behind that comes Gold for My Gal up the inside. Kamari Continent is 8 off the pace early, followed up the far outside by Velvet Morning, who's 3 wide. Then it's Zoftig in a gap of 3 back to Be Joyful and Rejoice. Secret Status second last by a couple, and Classy Carrots at the back of the pack. Quick quarter, 22 and 3/5 seconds for Rings of Chime, 3 parts of a length in front. Cash Run still flanking her from second. Spain in a good tracking spot from third. Miss Seffens up the inside is 3.5 off the leader in fourth now. Circle of Life is racing in fifth. Vivid Sunset gaining steady ground along the inside from sixth place, and it's Gold for My Gal, followed by Zoftig, and she's gaining ground on the inside. Kamari Continent starts to commence her run now. Eden Lodge has lost some ground. Secret Status starts to gain from the back of the pack, then Be Joyful and Rejoice. And behind that at the back is Velvet Morning. To the top of the lane they come. It's Rings of Chime in front by a length and a half. Rings of Chime, Cash Run now fully extended, trying to get to her from second. Spain is racing in third. Miss Seffens gets set down for the drive from fourth place. Here comes Pat Day in Secret Status with a big looping move on the far outside. Rings of Chime trying to pull the upset of the Oaks. Rings of Chime leads it. Pat Day in Secret Status motoring on the outside, and Secret Status with a burst of speed is up to take the lead past the 8th pole. Secret Status putting the field away and drawing clear. Secret Status, an impressive winner of the Kentucky Oaks. Secret Status and Pat Day winning it.
Iggy, there you are, flashing into third place. The winner, Secret Status. Her son was actually one of her subsequent sons, was Dunkirk, who finished second both in the Florida Derby and the Belmont Stakes. Classy Cara lost nothing in defeat, running in a field of 14. Despite trailing the field early, you had to be happy with the final results.
Yeah, it was. I mean, what a game filly this was. She had equally talented on grass. Classy Cara was able to win the Honeymoon Stakes at Hollywood Park on turf, carried her head really low to the ground, and just tries, no matter what. And that day was no difference. We got away a little bit slow. There was good pace going up in front. It was just her style of running. And when it was time to go, I asked, and the winner won fairly easy, but she was, just resilient, just trying the whole way. That's what you really look for in horses. Sometimes you get horses that don't like a certain track or a position or being inside or too much kickback or whatever. That was one. Turf, dirt, traveling. She was going to come with the A game.
Iggy's style of handicapping is picking winners. We're going to find out who he likes on today's 9-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Sunday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. The track is fast, the turf is firm, the rail on the turf at 0 today, and here are the early changes on today's card. Burgers and Brews continues today, so go enjoy some of that delicious food. In the first, scratch 9, Fort Griffin, scratch number 13, Dinkum, 9 and 13 are out. Early pick 5 starts with the opener. The second kicks off the early pick 4, no show wagering. Scratch number 3, It's Not Rocket. Turning to the third, blinker notes as listed in your program. Race 4 starts the $2 pick 6. And just the one blinker note. Fifth race, all turf pick 3 and late pick 5 offered. One blinker note in there. In the 6th, no show wagering. Scratch 2, Imagineer. Scratch 5, Silver Ice. 2 and 5 are out. In the 7th event, no changes. Late pick 3 begins. Race 8, $5 late double wagering offered. No scratches or jockey changes. And the 9th has Super High 5. Scratch number 1, Nakota. Those are the changes on our program today. Remember, tomorrow, $2 beers, hot dogs, and sodas as we have special holiday racing. And the Coast to Coast Pick 5 is offered every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with a low 15% takeout, retail wager only. It combines races from Gulfstream as well as those at Santa Anita. Today's sequence starts with Gulfstream's 9th. Keep in mind, another wager involving both tracks is the Sunset Pick 6. And that offers a pick 6 wager on the last 3 from Gulfstream, last 3 from Santa Anita. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner and resume the seminar. The special guest today is the very popular Iggy Puglisi.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with former jockey Iggy Puglisi. He's on track every day, so he certainly has his finger on the pulse of what's happening here, both in the morning and in the afternoon. Speaking of the morning, have you been backside lately with some groups of people that you usually chaperone? Have you been doing any of that lately?
Yes. On Saturdays, we go out and do like a ultimate fan experience, so they get to go visit a barn of a different trainer, and so I get back there and I get to chat with all my homies, all my people back there.
Comrades.
I love it. Yeah. Especially, grooms that have been there for a long time, because
Sure.
it's strange. It's like you won't see them for 5 or 6 years, and all of a sudden you'll see them, and it's like you'd never missed them. You're like, hey, how you doing?
But they're the true unsung heroes, aren't they? I mean, they don't get any glory, they don't get any publicity, but they're the ones with the horses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
That's my big spiel when I'm doing one of these things, is, as I tell people all the time, the jockey, the trainer, a lot of credit. As soon as you're done, the mic's there, and wow, what a great job, or, whatever it is. And, taking away a little bit from what really matters. And it's all so important. When I do show these people around, I just explain to them just how valuable every position, the hot walker that's there to walk the horse when it gets back, that the groom that's taking that horse's temperature for the first time at 4 a.m, checking that the horse drank all its water, that the food was eaten the same amount, that it's gone to the bathroom the same, all of this information that's obviously very important, that gets reported to the trainer, a little bit later on. But without the grooms, and the hot walkers, and the gentleman that's putting up the colors for us in the jocks room, all of it is really really important in its own way.
The backside is a unique village. If you want to experience it, reach out to Sanita. You can find it on the website. The Ultimate Fan Experience every Saturday. You can be a part of it. And it's a fun morning and a fun afternoon. All right, Iggy, we got to pay some bills. So we got to look at today's card, see if you can help us find some winners. We kick things off in race number 1 on the turf course. The rails today on the turf course are at 0 feet. We're sprinting 6 furlongs on the turf course for maiden special weight 3-year-olds. Also, race 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. There are 2 scratches in race number 1. Take out both number 9 and 13. Still leaves us with a field of 11, the morning line favorite, and the current betting choice. I should say the morning line favorite was number 5, Honey's Choice, at 7-2, but the current betting choice at 2-1 is the one drawn right outside of him, number 6, Postmodern, from the Mark Glatt barn. 11 ways you can go here, Iggy. Which way you going and why?
I watched some replays, and I ended up on Honey's Choice. This horse has only routed, and he seems, very straightforward. The horse is positioned well and runs after him. I'm not sure. They tried going a little bit further last time, 1 1/8 miles. Now we get the cut back in distance. So this horse just drew my attention watching, especially all the first races, Street Contrast, Conducted. These are all horses that have come back and done well. So my eye kept going back to here. I'm not sure because the horse hasn't sprinted on grass yet. So I lay on what I've been able to see on replays, who I think I would prefer to ride if I was racing. And I try to take a little bit of the playbook of Rispoli. Also rode the 6-horse first time out. That is my second choice. And he seems like maybe he opted for the 5-horse, Honey's Choice. I'm not sure. There's a couple of other horses. BJ's Bullet is off 5 months. Both of those starts, the second one is drastically improved. The horse ran very green first time out, leaning in, getting away from the gate, and then much more straightforward. If there was more room, I would definitely add that horse at a big price at 15-1. Then there's a couple of interesting horses. Chapter 1 goes to Doug O'Neill from Michael McCarthy. I'm not exactly sure what to expect there, but I hung on. I think the 5 is going to be live in here, so I'm going to end up with a 5 and 6.
Additional comment for Iggy's second selection, number 6, Postmodern, who is the current 2-1 betting choice. That workout that you see on December 29th, courtesy of Andy Harrington at nationalturf.com, who's been my seminar guest before. That workout was a team workout on December 29th with the ultimate or with the eventual, I should say, San Vicente winner. So happy, also from the Mark Glatt barn. I have a feeling that workout comment is why we see Postmodern currently at 2-1 on the tote board. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track for maiden claiming 3-year-olds in for a $32,000 tag. Scratch the 3 leaves us with a field of 4. Number 5, Texas Wildcat, is a first-time gelding. Number 1, It's Time, from the Ryan Hansen barn, who won race 1 yesterday, is the even money morning line favorite. Tyler Bay's in the saddle. You rode against Tyler Bay's back in the day, right?
Tyler is awesome. Such a good person. One of those honest, just down to earth,
hard worker.
Yeah. And always in a good mood and always says hello and doesn't let things bother him too much. He's one of the guys that I really cheer for a lot.
How are jockeys able to maintain, their mental energy and their physical energy for the entire 12 months of the year? Other pro athletes get a bit of a break. Most jockeys can't afford a break. Let's just put it that way. How do you guys maintain, like you said, a positive spirit, a positive attitude for the entire year without having any peaks and valleys?
It is. And it's just difficult. You try and leave, at least I did, leave what happened in the jocks room or in the races at home, or I'm sorry, don't take it home at the track. That's the only way to kind of really get over it, because if you've already known that you kind of messed up and you only got beat an inch or two, and what if I saved that much more ground in the first turn? What if my horse would have broke this much more alertly? All of these things that you can rack your brain thinking about. So it's very difficult. And again, we could go to talking about the top riders in the world or here that win at 22%, meaning even at the top, 78% of the time you lose. So you have to be able to swallow, right? Yes, exactly. That's it, is that you have to be able to be okay with losing a huge percentage of the amount. And that's, again, the top. Maybe you're at 10%. So 9 of 10, you're losing. It's tough to go home and to be nice and okay, it's no big deal, and make sure that you maintain those races and those mounts and to keep everybody happy. So I think kind of just trying to leave it in the jocks room is the only way, because you're 100% right. If you're not injured or kind of sidelines or maybe got some days, there's no vacation. You're always working on your weight because you don't want that moving around too much. And you're thinking about the next horses that you're going to ride if you have to travel. Nowadays, with the international jockeys, I look and it's mind-boggling to me where I see Pratt here and then Florida, and then he's at Parks, and then he's at Fairgrounds, and he doesn't miss a beat.
A guy like Ryan Moore goes from England to Australia to Dubai to the Breeders' Cup. It's insane. He's traveling around the world.
That's it. It's a different ballgame. You didn't see it nearly as much as now, and I look at these international riders, I go, wow. And that they come and you're able to adapt. The Ortiz brothers, again, that move around, that are riding in so many different tracks. Some horses or tracks have the bend is a little bit less than the other, and they're able to just adjust so quickly to it,
That's why they're world-class jockeys.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's going to win race 2, Iggy? On Ryan Hansen's side, or you're looking elsewhere in race 2?
I went Ryan as my second choice. It's Time, down from the inside. I watched both of these replays. Captivator won by a long ways in that second start of It's Time, but it's a much tougher field. Texas Wildcat also caught my eye a little bit because the horse gets gelded and is drawn outside, and it broke with great speed, just kind of faded. I wouldn't be surprised, but I had a sneaky suspicion that original one, the Hector Palma, gets Jaramillo. That's been just fantastic since he's gotten here. I know Doug is riding him a lot. That horse just kind of caught my eye to me. So I ended up 4-1 in the second race.
Race number 3, we're back on the turf course, this time sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the flat turf course. It's for fillies and mares, $25,000 claimers, non-winners of 2 races lifetime, a full field of 12, with the morning line favorite once again being from the Mark Latt bar, number 11, Skating Through Life, a lukewarm 7-2 favorite at that. Give us your thoughts on race 3, Iggy.
I did. I ended up on Skating Through Life. I watched, again, a couple of these replays last night, and this mare, sometimes the hill turf course, the 6.5, isn't specifically for every horse. They don't particularly love crossing the dirt or maybe turning right or going downhill. I can excuse that one. The rest of this mare's races, they're all fast enough to win this particular heat. The one 2-back on October 13th, going 3/4, is a really good hidden race. The horses only beat a couple of lengths to Origami and Cloudy Women. I think she's faced tougher. She's drawn outside. So I thought the 11 would be tough in there. I didn't know. Aloha Dreaming looked interesting, trying grass. So there's, again, a couple of them. Boosters Club, the Clubhouse Ride horse, won first time out from last in a slow dirt heat. But I ended up with Willow's Cove second. That horse, when she broke her maiden at Del Mar, I know it was a couple of years back, Juan was just sitting in the pocket and the spot opened up, and it was just really dreamy to watch. So I ended up with 11 and 3 as being my top choices.
Iggy, you've talked a couple of times in the first 3 races we've analyzed where you're watching replays. Maybe what are some things you look at, particularly as it relates to watching the jockey's movement during a race, that maybe the casual handicapper wouldn't be looking for? Are you looking for feet in the dashboard? Are you looking for arm movement, elbow movement? I mean, what are some of the things? I don't know what you're looking at, but you obviously have a very unique perspective. Tell us what you're looking for when you watch a replay.
Yeah, just more than, especially with first-time starters, or I guess it all depends, but a lot of late interest. Make sure that their feet were still under them, at the wire. Oh, that horse still had a little bit left. I watch the gallop out. Sometimes I don't put all of my eggs there. Some horses just kind of continue to run after the wire. Some of them have been taught to kind of shut down a little bit more, but there's not one specific thing that I'm looking for. But significant trouble is great. Sometimes it doesn't, tell you in the lines here, oh, this horse was stopped. And I'm like, wow, that was, especially Del Mar 5/8 racing. It's so short and there's so much trouble in that turn. And then the short stretch that you can find trouble horses. But again, if they're running in that same 5/8 race, it's tough to not know that they're not going to get into that same position again. So Mainly trouble or interest at some point or another. Like, wow, that horse went into a 22-second quarter and he made it 5 lengths. So that interior fraction, there's a lot of I try and find, and it's not that easy. Sometimes I really like, oh, okay, that horse stands out to me, and sometimes I'll look and I'm like, well, 5 of them could win, or
Sure.
depending on the trip, you know, it just really does.
And there's subtle trouble too, and I'll give you one example. Let's just say there's a 3-wide duel and a horse is in between, and he's maybe a second-time starter or a debut runner. I mean, that's a tough spot to be in, right? When they're cooking along 21-44, you have to be able to excuse a horse's performance. The example I always give is Point Given in the Kentucky Derby. For whatever reason, he didn't fire his race, but at the end of the year, he was the best 3-year-old of that crop. You have to be willing to excuse performances if you can make an excuse for them as well.
For sure. Absolutely. Especially when you're getting that deep into it too, because a lot of the times you see that horse broke from the 1 hole. Now he's 8 of 8, you know, and you could see how much pressure that took. Horse took first time out. It broke well, but he was kind of being crowded or herded in. And it's a tough situation. I thought, wow, that was a tough race. It's going to be a much easier scenario this time, maybe being placed outside with some experience. So they're all little things that you hope to try and add together.
Race number 4 begins the $2 pick 6. We kick off the $2 pick 6, sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track for maiden claiming Calbred 3-year-olds. $50,000 is the claiming tag. A field of 7. Number 2, Bandolero, taking blinkers off for trainer Peter Urton, is the 8-5 morning line favorite. Talk to us about race 4, Iggy.
I had a tough time in this race too. I went back and I ended up a horse that's stepping up in class. This is Mark Glatt that's just been fantastic. Horse ran for maiden 20, state bred 20, first time out, was 5-2 and ran good. Had a little bit of trouble around the turn, just kind of paused more than anything, not really stopped, but continued on. It showed interest. That horse caught my eye. Bandolero, I watched the Los Alamitos race. I don't know if this horse necessarily wants to go 5.5. I'm not sure. I was having a tough time, but I ended up Chief Resident. I think is going to run good. And then Tiger Whitworth, also in a different type of heat. This is a horse that's now in a race where they're going 44-3. That's just a much
kind of like what we just talked about.
Pace. Right. Exactly. So I'm watching him, even though he's 5th, you know, he's splitting the field 5th of 10. The one before that also runs 5th. The horse is in contention and within a couple of lengths of a very fast pace. And I think it's setting it up for what I think is probably the weakest field that this gelding has faced so far.
3 and 5 for our seminar guest, Iggy Puglisi, in race number 4. Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 5. Begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 wagers, the $3 all turf pick 3 with the reduced 15% takeout. And we kick off both wagers in race 5, sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course for fillies and mares. Launch optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than a field of 9. Number 2, Marion Cross, putting the blinkers on for trainer Dan Blacker, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Which way are you going to go here Iggy, and why?
I know I've been talking about how difficult all of these races have been so far. I think this one to me is the biggest head scratcher, or at least my biggest spread. I ended up with Dare to Fly, again, a horse that I've watched the last 3 replays on. And it's going to be one of those horses I don't know if she doesn't win today. Maybe I'll take a break from following this horse again, but I believe it's the correct horse. But there's just many of them. Marion Cross is ultra fast. This is a horse I can go 43 and change. I don't know how to rate the Indiana races, you know, exactly how it's going to be here. But then you look at the last race, running against Queen Maxima. I mean, it's only a few lengths.
From the Jeff Mullins barn.
You know, but then you see misleading. This is a $500,000 purchase that won first time out, that looked like she was just kind of sitting back there and just really, really exploded the last little bit. So it's a cool horse to watch. Helga, the 6 horse, again, sat the pocket. Juan scooted up whenever he wanted to inside. And I don't know what to think of the Baffert. I made it this filly my second choice. She was avoided claim last time in the non-winners of 2. All the grass races are just really good, drawn outside. You can see the fractions last time, 23, 45, and 2. We're not going to get that scene today with this horse on the lead. She is going to have to work a little bit harder from there. but I think being positioned out there and the way that she's ran, I got to make her my second choice and Dare to Fly. But again, if you're playing any of the good exotics or even doubles or the all turf pick threes, really good race. I could see a number of these horses winning, and I would not be surprised. Mizzy Yan, the Michael McCarthy for 20-1 is a fantastic price also.
And race number 5 is the anchor race. It's the last race for the 50-cent early pick 5, the first race for the 50-cent late pick 5. So certainly handicappers are going to struggle with race number 5. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4, sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track for maiden special weights. There are 2 declarations out of this race. Scratch both numbers 2 and 5. Number 3, Latitude, even money on the original morning line, likely to go lower for trainer John Sadler and Juan Hernandez. Give us your thoughts on race 6, Iggy.
Yeah, this one, again, I tried to kind of play the agent jockey. What would they do? We all know that JJ rides mainly for Bob Baffert, first call. It seems like pretty much what he wants, or most of them. And I don't know if he did opt for the Sadler horse in here. And so that drew my attention there. I watched that last race with Latitude and Running with Chaos. And the 4 horse in that last race just flat out ran that horse. There was,
I agree,
right next to him.
No excuse.
There
right?
was just no real excuse for Latitude for the 3 horse. But this horse comes back with big works. And touted. Juan moves from a Baffert to ride this horse. So again, for such a small field, 3 and 6 is who I chose. I don't know if the 6 horse is a $1.4 million purchase that started at Los Alamitos racecourse routing, first time out. It's not exactly what Bob Baffert does. So I'm not sure. The horse ran very fast and then off over a year. I don't know. Hector Barrios, one of my favorite riders here, is aboard. I went with those 2, but if Running with Chaos won, I would not be the fitly surprised, because the last video of them both running looked great.
Race number 7 begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We're going 1 mile and an eighth on the turf course for allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of 1 other than another big field of 11. Morning line favorite number 6, City Exile from the Phil D'Amato barn, is 3-1 on the morning line. Talk to us about race 7, Iggy.
I was really taken by Centro Delantero, which is a center front man in soccer.
Spoken
Football.
Like a true Argentinian.
Yes. So that horse, I'm only going off of the last race under Jeff Mullins, and I watched it again last night. It's beating Sketchy and Smart Code. It's not the strongest field in the world, but the way that it was done, this horse just sat in the perfect position, galloping along, and when Hector kind of picked up the reins and asked his horse to go, he did just that. Just really took over and poured it on. A couple of the other horses are older. Dicey Mochara is 8. Baldeoro, again, is a 7-year-old. So I wasn't sure. I was really taken by the 3. I know it's going to be a tougher task this time. And I came with, well, to me, a strange horse that I've followed in the past. El Rey Rey comes off of an 8-month layoff, and this horse is 15-1. It's won twice, going 1 mile and an eighth. And I've watched this horse run multiple times. It's a tricky horse to ride with a lot of talent. Sometimes this horse gets to pulling. It's just one of these horses that you have to get along with. And DeMuro, I think, is going to fit this horse perfect. You're going to have an inside position, hopefully not too much to make up late. But I thought at the price, I would take a stab at it with El Rey Rey second. So 3-1.
1 mile on the main track is the distance for race number 8 for $8,000 claimers. Also begins the $5 late daily double with a reduced 15% takeout. Morning line favorite number 2, Contrarian Chieftain from the Lee Baraccio barn. 8-5 on the morning line, claimed for 5, now back in for 8 after trying tougher. Thumbs up or thumbs down on the favorite here, Iggy?
I think this horse is going to win. I've just gone through the rest of them, and I'm having a hard time finding a horse to be challenging. I know Autism Puzzle's dropping in for the 8,000 tag, but the 2 horse in here, Kyle's ridden this horse before. I expected to go back to the form when Liberato Barocio had this horse in the past. It's gone through a couple of trainers, but I find that this is probably the true route horse. Northern Quest is 9. He's making his first start at Santa Anita as a 9-year-old. He's at least one routing. The rest of them are really sprinters. You know, a lot of these horses are horses that were running over even the 1 and the 7 coming out of 1,000-yard races or 5/8 races across town. I'm not sure exactly how they'll fit here. Smarty Nose likes to run on towards the end. That's an 8-year-old. But for the second choice, Alpine Thunder, I think is faced, if anything, better horses. You see horses like Berlin Wall on there and Jetivator and just horses that are just higher level in class. I don't know. That horse is 8. They've only tried routing one time. Kind of gives me the inclination that whether it's been in different barns or not, that horse probably is a sprinter. But at 8, I had to take a second choice. So I'm going to go Contrary Chieftain and Alpine Thunder. Second.
We close out the day in race number 9, offering $1 super high 5 wagering, 1 1/8 on the turf course for maiden claiming fillies and mares in for a $50,000 tag. Scratch the 1 leaves us with a field of 11. Might be the final race on today's card, but keep in mind we have racing again tomorrow. That's right, Monday holiday racing, Martin Luther King Day, 9 race card beginning at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time. But first things first here, Iggy, the morning line favorite in this field of 11 is number 6, Wanika from the Jeff Mullins barn, 7-2 on the morning line, ridden by Hector Barrios. Interesting, since this is the second off a layoff, the barn is able to protect this horse with a waiver claim. That is a new rule in Southern California where you can protect the horse for 2 starts, not just 1. That might come into play today. Is she your top pick in the race?
It is. I ended up picking 2 horses that come out of the same race, where if I'm only getting 2, I'd prefer to kind of take one out because I could be choosing a weak race. It was a slow time at Del Mar, the 1:1:39 over a good turf surface that day. But again, Wanika was stuck behind traffic, behind not much of a pace. They went a little quick the first quarter, then really slowed it down. And Hector was inside just biding his time.
She got shuffled back.
And Angelica Bay was behind her, also getting shuffled. And they both came on running really strong. Again, I wouldn't be surprised. Interplay seems cool. Ghost just ran fantastic. Big, strong-looking mare. It looked like a stud neck on her. You know, watching the replay, she ran really good. Last time, I wouldn't be surprised, but. Just from the last 2 exits, I think if they get a little bit more of a pace scenario, Angelica Bay goes to Doug O'Neill and Jaramillo again that we mentioned earlier, both doing really well. The race of the 8 horse 3-back against Willa T, I think is a very legitimate race horse. So that puts her again up into one of my top positions. So 6 or 8 are my top spots in here. 10 and 12 both also have good form if you're able to kind of spread out. Musical Song ran really good for Ruben Gomez, but I'm going to try and go with just visually what I saw. 6 and 8, I thought both had trouble trips, and hopefully we'll be live today.
Iggy, I think I speak for all horse players and handicappers when we could all sit here and listen to you all day long talk about racing and handicapping. You've got, such a great perspective that it's very refreshing to hear and a positive attitude. So keep up the great work for all the work you do on behalf of Santa Anita and the thoroughbred industry, and we'll do the seminar again sometime real soon.
Thank you, my friend. It's always a great pleasure being here at Test the Handicapping, and I love you coming up with tapes of watching. I can't recall seeing that Classy Cara one. I'm so happy seeing that Oaks. I have a few of the old VHS tapes that I either collected from the tracks or whatever. That one I hadn't seen in a while. So thank you kindly for that.
I'm glad to put a smile on your face. I hope everyone enjoyed the seminar. Keep in mind, we've got 2 other wagers to briefly talk about. The Coast to Coast Pick 5, you've seen the payoffs the last couple of days in the Coast to Coast Pick 5. They've been remarkable. That's because it's a $1 minimum bet with a low 15% takeout. Also, the $1 Sunset Pick 6, we start fresh today. That wager links the last 3 races from Gulfstream Park with the last 3 races at Santa Anita. Want to thank everybody for watching today. Hope you have a great afternoon. Enjoy the races, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place. Track is fast, turf is firm, rail on the turf at 0 feet. Those track conditions brought to you by John Deere. Are the changes in the first scratch 9 Fort Griffin and 13 Dinkum. 9 and 13 are out. The early pick 5 offered on the opener. Race 2, no show wagering. Scratch 3, It's Not Rocket. In the third, blinker notes for a couple. Race 4 starts the $2 pick 6. No scratches or jockey changes. Same story in the fifth. Started the late pick 5 and the all-turf pick 3 today, 5, 7, and 9. Race 6, scratch 2, Imagineer, and 5, Silver Ice. 2 and 5 are out. No show wagering in race 6. In the 7th race, $3 late pick 3 offered, no changes. 8th race has a $5 late daily double. And just the one blinker note. 9th race, scratch 1, Nakota, and we have super high 5 wagering. Enjoy burgers and brews today on the apron and special holiday racing tomorrow. We have the Coast to Coast pick 5 every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Low 15% takeout. It starts today at 1:20 Pacific with Gulfstream's 9th. Have a wonderful afternoon here at the Great Race Place. We're 26 minutes away from the opener.